and welcome to our little corner of the internet. We're so excited you're here. I'm Charlotte and this is my husband Carl, along with our cheeky little boy George and our crazy Cocker Spaniel Arnie. We've just moved into a 3-bed bungalow on an acre of land and it's about to get a serious makeover. After years of living in military accommodation and always being miles away from family, we made a big decision. We're now living under one roof with my parents Martin and Cheryl. 3 generations coming together to build a family home filled with support, love, and homegrown produce. We'll be sharing our journey of renovating the bungalow, transforming our 1-acre garden into a kitchen garden, and learning to live more simply and sustainably together. This is more than a renovation, it's about creating a slower, connected way of life, real family life, real progress, and probably a few real mishaps along the way. If that sounds like your thing, we'd love for you to follow along. Like, subscribe, and come say hello. We're just getting started.
Welcome to this week's update. As always, we've been busy, and although the weather is still fairly warm, we do have one eye on the incoming autumn. So one of the first priority jobs was to get the wood store sorted. Now, I've been collecting plywood for months from the garden centre where we used to live. And the idea of the plywood was to make compost bins, but we repurposed it this week and we've used it to make dividers for the wood store. Again, I've been collecting wood on the allotment for months and I'm moving it on a weekly basis up to the new property. And somewhere it's got to go. And the idea of these 3 dividers is that the fresher wood that we're going to use this winter will go in the bay nearest the camera. And then the aging wood will go further back into the shed, probably move it forward as we use it. In last week's video you saw Cheryl and I start to tackle the mess around the front of the drive. This job we're doing here is simply an extension of it. This berberis had grown wildly out of control. It's obviously there to screen the fuel oil tank and we want it to continue doing that job, but we cut the berberis back, it'll regrow and I can shape it. Then I started to tackle the bed that surrounds it and we used the same old principle that we'll be using in the kitchen garden. Well, for now, that's that job complete. Cardboard's been put down, plastic on top so that the cardboard and the plastic combined kill off any growth and weeds over winter, and in the spring I'll take the plastic up and put some soil on and then we'll grow some shade loving plants there and make a bit of a feature. I'm going to do something like a little low rock wall circular under that tree and then put some soil in that, make a feature of that, and the rocks are going to come from here. Talking of here, this is my next job. I don't know what that is, but it's coming out. Well, that's exposed an even bigger stump. That must have been quite a tree at some point. They've cut it down and it's created multiple stems that have grown from the base. So we do think at some point we're going to have to get a stump grinder in. Whether we can get one into there with all those rocks, I'm not sure, but it has exposed this rather large mess. And it's not as bad as I thought because it's only a single layer of rocks laying there and they're laying over a big hump of soil from the look of it. So it might be easier to solve than I thought. Anyway, that's all now got to be chipped.
Well, so far is to make a mess.
Yeah. Well, as with every aspect of this bungalow and garden, what looks like a simple job unearths a slightly more complicated job.
Yeah, we thought with a few stones scattered on top, this is what we found underneath.
However, we're extending the drive down there, so this lot will go in that hole as a nice firm base, so we can park 3 vehicles abreast. Now, with all the jobs we've got to do in the garden, and they are too many to number, this was a significant moment. This was the moment we turned our eyes to the kitchen garden. The kitchen garden is going wherever you can see the long grass. So we all got together, me with my strimmer, Carl with the mattock, and we started to clear the ground. As always, Cheryl was there with a lending hand to pick up the mess we made, and it didn't take us long to start to clear the ground. Of course, the biggest problem with this will be the expense of the soil we put down. So there's no rush, we can do it one strip at a time, but it felt good to be clearing the land, ready to grow fruits and vegetables. Now, many of you will know what I'm talking about when I say no dig, but for those who don't, very simply, we're not going to dig the ground, we cut the grass as short as we can get it, then we lay cardboard down. Luckily for us, we've got many boxes from our move. Once the cardboard is laid down, you should then put the soil on it, but we haven't bought that yet. So what we're doing is we're going to cover it in more plastic sheets, ready so that the cardboard survives for the soil when we buy it. It's a slow process, but now you can see with the cardboard down and plastic over the top, it will suppress and kill the grass, ready for when we've bought the soil to start making our no-dig beds. Once the cardboard was down, I got my eyes back on other jobs that I'd already started, and this one was the cigar tree, where the tree hadn't been looked after and maintained for a long time, and when we moved in, the branches were actually touching the ground. It meant we couldn't walk under the tree, and we lost a lot of space due to that. So raising the canopy of the tree just allowed us all to move underneath it, put a table and chairs under there, and made a very social place where there's dappled shade for us to sit on a summer's day. Now that we've got the cardboard down for our first no-dig bed, we're on the lookout for compost soil from a cheap source. And Carl's done a number of runs to the local tip, getting rid of a lot of our waste. And they've got this stuff there. They make it at the tip. It's a product of all the green waste that goes there. And it comes in at about 2/3 of the price of commercial compost in bulk. So green grow is the way forward. Lucky he spotted it. Well, I'm fully aware that it's the wrong time to prune an apple tree. However, we are surrounded in this what used to be an orchard by damson trees that have snapped, broken and collapsed under the weight of this heavy fruit season. And this apple is so beautiful. We don't know what variety it is, but it tastes fantastic and we don't want to lose any of it. So we're going to cut some of the lower lying branches down, harvest the apples as we do it, and hopefully save it from the same fate as the few damsons around here that have fallen over. Well, I don't know what variety this apple is, but it's now looking much neater. A lot of weight taken off it, the grass trimmed around it and some soil put down with cardboard just to neaten and tidy it up. Very happy with that.
Cheese.
Wow.
Put it in the wheelbarrow.
On here, George, on here. Good boy, well done.
Clever boy.
See that bit? In there. Good boy. You see it?
Okay.
Next to with all the furniture, but
Okay. I'm only interested in the walls. I can't see. Wow! Look at it!
Come on, George.
that's it.
Come on.
George, look! Wow! George, look at your room! Look! Look what Daddy's done! Look! Wow! Wow! What is it? What's this? An elephant! What noise does an elephant make?
Honey.
Ah, good boy!
One final job that needed to be done. There was a small gap in the hedges at the bottom of the garden where there's a drop down onto the road. So for both Arnie the dog and George's sake, we get a fence up with the materials we had to hand just to make sure that nobody went out through that gap. Hope you enjoyed this week's update. If you want to see more, join us next week at the Homegrown Haven.